Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. So this one's going to be a bit of a weird, different video. I like to do these discussion videos sometimes. So we're going to discuss when will Tapped Out end. And I've got 7 scenarios of why it could result in it ending. If there is any other scenarios you have, please tell me. But these are the 7 that I could come up with. Maybe like my sort of, I guess my solution, or do I think this would be the end of Tapped Out sort of thing. So yeah, Tapped Out, I mean, to be honest, it's been going for, I want to say 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. Over 5 years, yeah, over 5 years. It's been going for over 5 years now, and you know, it's added a lot of characters and a lot of buildings. I don't know the exact numbers, but I do know it's a lot. So we're gonna go through 7 different reasons, 7 different ways it could end, and yeah, I mean, let's do it. So the first one is it will run out of characters. So of course, in every event, you kind of need characters, really. If there's no characters, if there's no characters added into an event, or skins, we'll cut skins as this as well. /skins, characters /skins, let's say. You know, if there's no skins or no characters, the event just simply doesn't work. I mean, look at every single event, excluding episode tie-ins and guilds offers. They all have, all the big events, or even the smaller events, they all have at least character. I mean, one character. I mean, or a skin. I mean, look at the Crook and Ladder update. I mean, a lot of people love that update. A lot of people hate it, but it added 4 new skins for for 4 of our characters. Look at the Chiliad update. I mean, if you look at it, it didn't add any new characters. It added 1 new character, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, it only added the Space Coyote. It might have added a costume, I'm not too sure, but it only added 1 character. So you look at that, you don't need to add loads of characters, you just need to have 1 or 2 or 3, and a lot of people love the Chiliad update. So personally, in terms of will we ever run out of characters? Now, here's a picture here. I've done this myself in my own free time because I'm sad. This is a big portrait of all the characters. I think season. I think it was like season 11 or 12 that this picture was first made. Now I've blanked out everything that you can see in red is a character that's already been added. So I've blanked out all the characters that are already in the game. And then you're left with all these characters. Now, I would say it's a good half, maybe, that are already in the game. Probably less than that, to be honest. And let's be fair, there's more characters on top of the ones that you see here. Of course, characters that were added later on, past when this picture was made. Characters like Julio, whatever you want, Chaz Busby, characters like that. Newer characters that are added in the newer seasons that I don't really know too well. But look at all these characters, guys. There's so many, and I know some of them are only like tiny little minor characters no one gives a damn about. But I mean, just look at them. There's pure loads of characters they can add. So in terms of characters, I don't really see characters being an issue, in my opinion. So yeah, so that I think we can debunk characters. I think we can safely say that probably won't be the end of Tapped Out anytime soon. So yeah. So the next one is running out of buildings, because of course buildings would be a problem as well, and I guess I'll limp in decorations here. Decorations, I don't think are going to be a problem. There's not even much point me discussing decorations because it's just self-explanatory. There's so many decorations you can add. I mean, it's just simple. But in terms of buildings, could we ever run out of buildings? So here we go. Here you can see, as you can just see on my recording here, I'm just going through the wiki, Wikia. So the Wikia. Simpsons Wikia has a list of all the locations. Then this isn't even all the locations. It has a list of all the locations, but I can tell you now, where me doing my extra research into the episodes, they don't list every building anyway. They miss so many buildings. For example, when I was going through the future stuff, the future event stuff, when I was doing my future event, half of those things weren't actually on the wiki. Half of those buildings weren't listed. More recently, my Black History, the manor was listed, but the stuff like the stable wasn't. The Simpsons house, the old Simpsons house, Virgil's cabin was, obviously, because that was added into the chapter. But there's all these little background, even background buildings. Sometimes they're quite prominent buildings, and they're just not added. Look at the movementarianism, episode. The actual visitors center wasn't in the wasn't in the on the wiki. So this isn't even all the buildings, is my point. But then you just go through all these buildings, and granted, some of them are buildings from the comic book, so you have to ignore them. But just look at them. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So I think in terms of buildings, in my opinion, there isn't really that much of a problem with buildings. There's plenty of buildings, and if they run out, what would I say? But to be fair, I would say that you're more likely to run out of buildings than you are to characters, because in terms of relevant buildings, I guess, would be the problem. Background buildings, if you were just to go off background buildings, you'd have no problem though. So I think buildings, for now, I can safely say it wouldn't be a problem. At the minute, it's not a problem anyway. So the next sort of one does tie back into the characters one, and it's running out of main characters, relevant characters. I just want to quickly, briefly touch on this because it's not also relevant. So I mean, I want to refer back to the Wild West event, because this is where I think where minor really characters and no one really cared about were added. For example, we had Gummy Joe, Luke Stetson. We had the Tumbleweed, which I do like the Tumbleweed though. We had Buck McCoy. All these characters were really irrelevant and minor, and that's why a lot of people don't like the Wild West. Some people love the Wild West. Some people, for some reason, fancy it. They want to have babies with it. But I personally am a bit on the fence with the Wild West. I'm not a big fan of the Wild West update. I think I've expressed that. I think it's cool. I mainly think it's cool because it added sand and added new tiles for us. What I didn't like about it is he didn't really add any relevant characters. Like Gummy Joe, he's okay. Luke Stetson, he's awful. Buck McCoy, even, I don't really like him either. See, they're all really minor characters, and that's the reason I don't really like that event. But then you look to events like the Crook and Ladder event this year we had as well, with the firemen, and that was all costumes, that was just skins. They didn't even add us a character. So I think that this could be a problem. If they're not really relevant characters and no one really cares about them, no one recognises them from episodes, I feel like that could become a potential problem. So I want to quickly touch on that. So number four is running out of event ideas. So of course, event ideas, I feel like the events are getting a bit more and more milking it, if you know what I mean. Now, Superheroes 2, a lot of people hate that event because they say it's milking it and you're adding minor characters. I would agree they are milking it, but they did it really well. I feel like they did the Superheroes Part 2 really well. I thought the quest was really good, and the characters, they were done in a unique way. Not an amazing way, but they were done in a really cool, unique way. It's just, they were working with some stuff, but there are other characters I think they could have added to the Superheroes event Part 2, and it would have made more sense. So yeah, I mean, Superheroes Part 2, I guess, would be an example of the sort of running out of event ideas. But I guess you could just look at the what they're doing in the minute with the pagan event, the winter event. Now, a lot of people are saying that maybe the reason they didn't do a proper winter event, a traditional winter event, was because of the lack of stuff they could add. However, I don't think this is an issue personally. I think there's plenty of stuff they can add, but maybe they're just sort of filling this year with a pagan event because they want next year to sort of be quite big in Christmas, or maybe they're doing a secret act 3, as some people like Nuclear Vidit HD have suggested. So I mean, running out of event ideas, I honestly think this could be a problem, and I'm going to highlight it as a potential problem. As you can see here, these are my ideas, and some of them you can see my event ideas. I've come up with quite a few little event ideas which I think would personally be pretty good, but even what I've done, how much material would I say that I've come up with? I'd say I've maybe come up with 2 years worth of stuff they could do. I would say I've come up with about 2 years worth of stuff they could do, adding plenty of characters and plenty of relevant characters to add. But I mean, after those 2 years, could it be potential that we don't have any more? Well, I'm gonna give it 3 years just to be safe, because I have got some more in my head, and you guys come up with new ones every day. So I'm gonna put that one in my head. I'm gonna put that down as 3 years. I'm gonna put that as potential running out of event ideas. So the next point is is actually The Simpsons just ending itself. So if The Simpsons ends itself, then we have the obviously tapped out possibly could end as a result of Simpsons ending. However, season 30 is looking like it might be the end of The Simpsons. Season 30 is rumoured to be the last season at the minute. I'm not too sure if that's 100% confirmed, but it's rumoured to be. It might be. It's a solid finish, ending in a 0. And season 30 is a lot of seasons anyway. So it's looking like that could be the last one. So that would bring us to, I think, I think that's in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, maybe. I'm not too sure exactly how long in the future that would be. Let's just say 4 years to be safe. But personally, I don't think that necessarily if the Simpsons ends, the Tap to Asti ends. The only thing that really has to end when the Simpsons ends is the episode tie-ins. They're the only really thing that, and to be honest with you, I don't think I'll miss them. So I think that it could be a potential reason that it'd end, but I think it'd be fine. I don't think they would even have a problem if the Simpsons ended. And then the next two are kind of I'll use them as separate points. So the first one is people will stop playing altogether. So if people stop playing, then obviously Tapped Out will end. It will have to wrap itself up if they're not generating enough revenue for the rights, because of course at the minute EA are paying monthly rights for the Tapped Out's for the Simpsons characters. They're paying monthly rights. At least I think that's what I'm gathering from it. Obviously EA They do a lot of Fox stuff, don't they? But EA obviously are having to pay for this, and they're also having to pay to keep it on the App Store. They're having to pay for people to actually, create new events and create new stuff, and people to maintain it and to maintain the servers. Of course, the servers cost money as well. So there's all this stuff. If people stop playing them, or maybe I'd be more precise, if people stop buying donuts, then maybe this could be a problem. Now, at the minute, it's on the top grossing, but it's not got as many players as it used to. It has lost players in the last 2 years, from what I can tell. So it's still top grossing, so I don't really see it as much of a problem. But I say it could be a problem in about a year, 2 years. I'm gonna say 2 years. That number, that grossing number, may change in terms of the relevant characters and stuff like that. And then my final point is just a quite simple one. The game just gets boring. What if the game is just shit? They come up with events, but they're just awful. The quest lines are awful, the characters are awful, the buildings are awful, and overall the events are awful. And if they keep repeating these events after event after event after event, so say for example they did an Easter event. If anyone remembers Easter, that was a hilariously good event. No, it was awful. It was god awful event. Easter 20. I don't even know what year it was anyway. I think it was 2 years ago. But it was such a bad. Excuse me. It was such a bad update, and everyone hated it. If they were to do that one, that kind of update, and they were to follow it with another sort of awful, let's say hypothetically, Easter followed by Clash of Clunes. So Clash of Clunes, and then an Easter, and then a Clash of Clunes, and then an Easter, and then a Clash of Clunes, whatever the hell it was. Clash of Clunes. They was just and they were then they just went nah, and they just followed with Easter. If they were to follow with these awful events and just awful events on top of awful events, then to be honest with you, people aren't gonna really buy into it, and then that's going to tie back into the people stop playing and people stop buying donuts. And to be honest, that ultimately the boring thing really plays into the to the relevant characters, and I think the relevant characters ties into the running out of event ideas. So I personally think, in my opinion, the biggest thing which is going to be a threat to the end of Tapped Out will be the running out of event ideas. I think that tying this video up into a knot, I think that will be the major factor in why Tapped Out would ever end. The running out of event ideas. In terms of characters, if they were to add random characters to an event and it wasn't relevant, then they could do that. But in terms of event ideas, they need a solid event that works with filtering characters, filtering buildings, and it working. But however, if you look at it, let's take for example my restaurant idea that I did ages ago. Okay, you could do one of them. Maybe you could pump out a part 2. All right, that's that event. That's that idea gone. Superheroes. They did 2 parts of that. Maybe they could possibly squeeze out a 3. I wouldn't encourage it, but that pretty much is over. I mean, the Wild West was over in 1. The Whacking Day was over in 1. Monorail event was over in 1. The Boardwalk was over in 1. The Heights was over in 2. All these events, I mean, they're really good and they're really eye-catching, but they end. That's it. After they're done, they can't really do a part 2 most of the time, and when they do a part 2, no one really likes it. So overall, I think that will be a problem. So to answer the question of the whole video, and to wrap it up and give you one concluding answer and stop my waffling, I think 3 years. I'm going to give it 3 years, and I think that is when things might get a bit sticky and a bit possibly Tapped Out coming to a close. But if I was to give it a definitive date, in my actual solid prediction, I'm going to say the year 2020 is when it ends. That's right, you heard it from me. 2020 is the definitive answer. That is the year I'm saying Tapped Out ends. Sometime in 2020, Tapped Out's going to end. There you go, take that to the bank. I'm probably going to be wrong. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on this little cool event, this cool little discussion. Give me your 2 cents. Give me your opinion. Really, just tell me when you think Tapped Out's going to end. I'm guessing 2020. That's my final day, but I'm thinking 3 years. 3 years is when they're going to start to get a bit. They're starting to lose people because it's going to get boring, and as a result of their events just being awful. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Goodbye.